everybody, as we call it, Hump Day, because it is halfway through most people's work week. Of course, I'm losing my voice here a little bit because I've been putting it through a bit of the ringer. I've done 3 podcasts this week. I went to 2 concerts so far this week. So, yeah, it's been actually 4 podcasts as we know, and I think about it. This is my number 4th podcast I've done in 3 days. But, yeah, I've been David Humpin right there as Mr. TJ Hopkins. If you're looking for consistent content, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you have come to the right place. We go live basically every single day, bringing the most up-to-date content, including today's show, or including the earlier show, which is Fantasy Football Weekly, where we gave you our Week 1 rankings. And TJ, go ahead.
Fantasy.
There you go. Right on cue. But yeah, we gave our Week 1 rankings for everything we think is going to happen in week number 1 and when it comes to fantasy football. And today, I realized when I was out at a concert last night, we predicted everything else in the NFL besides who we thought was going to win the Super Bowl. And I was like, you know what? We got to change that. So we're going to be giving everybody who's a panelist here at Prime Sports will give a Super Bowl, their pick for the Super Bowl, and then a kind of dark horse Super Bowl pick. And we're gonna break that all down here today on today's show. If you're looking for consistency, I already went through this. Prime Sports World, good place to hang out. We're gonna bring you all of this exclusive NFL content this season. So continue hanging out with us because we're creating good content. Happy Wednesday, TJ, man. How are you? Also, if you want to join us and talk some football, StreamYard is link is shared to our main Prime Sports World Facebook page, along with the YouTube page and the Twitter. So please join us when it comes to Prime Sports World. TJ, what's up, buddy? How are you, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
You know what, man? I'm doing pretty good. I had a pretty good day at work. I wasn't really sure because I was, I stayed up kind of late last night, later than I normally do on a work night. But I had a good day at work, so I'm pretty happy about that. So let's get into the Super Bowl predictions. We're going to start with yours, as we usually do. And your actual prediction, I hope you like the graphics. I gotta put some decent work into it. So the actual prediction is you got Tampa Bay going against the Buffalo Bills, and let's just hear the rationale for why you think those 2 teams are going to be representing their each individual conference in the Super Bowl, and then who do you got winning it? Just out of curiosity.
So yeah, I know you asked that in the group chat, so I didn't want to say anything. Mostly because I was asleep, and mostly because I wanted to save it for.
This. I got you.
So my original prediction is Tampa Bay and Buffalo meet up in the Super Bowl. I think I'm gonna go with Buffalo finally breaking that Super Bowl curse that's just looming over them, and I want them to win mostly because I want to see Bills Mafia just literally burn Buffalo down to the ground, because that's exactly what's going to happen if they win the Super Bowl. They have arguably the most complete roster in all of football, especially when Tre'Davious White comes back. I know he's out right now, but that's a huge blow that they're going to miss him, especially for this Week 1 matchup, which is in about
24 hours, baby. Less than 23 hours, something like that. 23 hours and some change.
Maybe 12 because it's going on 8 o'clock. They probably playing at 8 o'clock.
It's still 24 hours. It's 24 hours. What are you talking about?
You're right. And so when they get him back, then they're going to be right back in it. I'm predicting Tampa Bay to win the NFC conference, mostly because they still got Tom Brady and because everybody that's injured, they're progressing way better than people expected. And I know everybody's worried about Ryan Jensen's out, and I forgot the other interior lineman that they have is out.
Well, they lost Ted Caracas and somebody else who ended up in Buffalo who's basically the backup center and basically starting right guard last offseason in the draft. But they traded for Shaq Mason. Everybody's going to be fine.
And Tom Brady's never been one to hold on to the ball long. Like his whole career, he's always been relatively quick to get rid of the ball, and he never takes big hits because if he's beat, he just falls down, and all the defender has to do is
touch him.
Touch him. My dark horse is the Saints and the Chargers.
The battle of Drew Brees' former teams going at it.
Right? Like how ironic is that? I picked the Saints because they're the only team in the NFC, especially the NFC South, that can give Tampa Bay a run for their money. They also have a stupid complete roster. They have, especially on defense, they have playmakers at all 3 levels. You got Cam Jordan rushing the passer. You got Demario Davis, man, in the middle, and their secondary is up there, especially when
Yeah.
you add Honey Badger to the equation. Like that's a deep roster. All you gotta do is hope and pray that Jameis Winston doesn't revert to 30 for 30,
Yeah.
and it's kind of sad because I wish we could have seen what he could have been last this
I mean,
past season.
they were 5-2 before he got hurt last season. So
Right, exactly. He's 5-2 before he gets hurt, and then the wheels fall off. In that 5-2 record was a 38-3 trouncing of Izzy's Green Bay Packers. And
also joining the show is CEO of Prime Sports World. You just joined me on the fantasy show, and now you're here back and doing the Super Bowl prediction show. Let's talk a little bit about TJ's prediction. So yeah, I have no problem with either of your predictions when it comes to the your actual prediction and your dark horse prediction. I have been on the record saying that I think the Saints are good enough to win the NFC South. Do I think they actually will? I'm not so sure. I got the Chargers winning the West. Buffalo got in the East. I have them as part of my Super Bowl prediction. I do not have them playing Tampa Bay because I'm secretly a hater. Not even secretly. I'm just not even secretly a hater. I just don't like Tom Brady. I don't want him to win anymore. I'm tired of it. So I can't.
That's a horrible explanation.
I'm just being honest. It's my prediction. I'm allowed to. But Tampa Bay they have a defensive line that's one of the best against the run in the NFL. They have a secondary that's pretty solid. They might have the best linebacking core in the NFL. And on Buffalo side, as you mentioned, most complete roster in the NFL. Saints, same thing. Chargers, the ceiling is nothing. The ceiling is super high for the Chargers. I mean, they could be the best team, and then the floor is also pretty low as well. I like both of your predictions when it comes to your Super Bowl prediction. Izzy, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Buffalo's got to get that monkey off their back, right? They gotta be able to get over the hump in the playoffs. And when I say the hump, I mean the one team that they kind of constantly run into at least 2 years was the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this year that they'll get it done if they do face the Chiefs in the playoffs. And then I just think Buffalo is the most experienced, most talented roster in the AFC, in my opinion. When I look at Tampa Bay, I mean, I could definitely see Tampa Bay, making a nice little run in the playoffs. I mean, all year they're going to be pretty good. 12, 13 win team, but it's in the playoffs, right? We'll see if those other more talented teams like the Rams are pretty good.
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Yeah, well, I'm not. You know what? Honestly, I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna be a homer here. I don't think Green Bay has a talent. I think defensively they're good. Offensively is where we're gonna have issues. That's why I don't have them in my Super Bowl predictions. So I could have been a homer, and I could have been like, yeah, Green Bay is gonna go. I don't see it. Tampa. You got Tampa. You got depending on how Trey Lance season goes. If he ends up playing well, I mean, you got San Francisco has a good enough defense that can contend in the NFC. The Saints are up there as well, and you got some good teams there. In the NFC. So but I think it's going to come down to the Bucks, and it's going to come down to the Rams. All in all, who's going to make the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Speaking of the Rams, let's jump into your predictions. Israel's predictions, CEO predictions. So we got the predictions. You got the Rams and the Bills, a rematch against week number 1 that's happening here in 24 hours. And his dark horse prediction, Philadelphia Eagles against the Los Angeles Chargers. There's a shocker here that he picked the Philadelphia Eagles to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And the dark horse prediction. But yeah, I think the Rams Bills is a very popular prediction. There's one other panelist on our show that made that same exact prediction. You know what's fun about this? You guys all know what everybody else's prediction is, but you have no idea what mine is because I didn't tell you.
That's how he does things. That's how he does things. The Rams are really talented. I mean, obviously, Super Bowl champs from a year ago. We haven't had a repeat champ since the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
From a few years back, right? So
03, I think.
03, yeah. So it's been a long time, So this is a rare bird, right? To repeat. And before the Patriots did, it was the Denver Broncos.
Broncos. Yep, Broncos. And
Yep, it was the
after
Broncos.
that,
Yeah,
I think it was the
97, 98,
Giants
98,
or
99.
the
So,
Cowboys may have done it. Yeah, the Cowboys. I
yeah,
think did it.
well, I'm just saying the two most recent teams to repeat. So it's a rare bird to repeat in the NFL because a lot of roster changes happen. I think this team can get it done. Cam Akers coming back healthy. I think he's going to be a viable weapon there in the run game for them. I think defensively, they're going to be as solid as ever. You still got Aaron Donald there. You still got Leonard Floyd's there on the outside linebacker. Bobby Wagner's the inside linebacker. Jalen Ramsey. I mean, at all three levels, they got playmakers. And so when I look at them in Buffalo, I like this matchup in week one, even though it's not really going to say much because, I mean, you're still kind of rolling out the kinks there with your starters. But I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But this is a potential Super Bowl matchup here, right? You got the most experienced, more talented team in the AFC, and then you got your Super Bowl champs coming back with the Rams that are really, really talented as well. It just all depends on how the Rams put it all together and if they can come. I think we'll see Buffalo there. I'm just a little like, okay, the Rams, I think they're my favorites, but if they run into Tampa Bay, I mean, it could cause some issues there.
Yeah.
Come on with my dark horse now. As I was gonna say, San Diego, LA, the Chargers, right? The Chargers are the up and coming, or they're already here. Talented team, super talented team. Defensively, though, is where they may have a little, some issues. They're just coming back from being a little, hurt last year. So we got to see how they're gonna, be able to play out the season. But I think offensively, that team is uber talented. I mean, Justin Herbert, that offensive line is great. Austin Eckler's the playmaker. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Donald Parham, Gerald Everett. You got playmakers all over the field on offense. That team is going to score a bajillion points this year. So
Joshua Palmer, next really
Josh
good third
Palmer,
line.
oh my gosh, I love that kid too. He's good too.
Yeah.
And then when I look at Philly, now TJ is probably going to be like, man, shut up, is. Hey, you already know where I'm going with this one. And I already see his face already. He knows it's coming. It's coming. You couldn't get it from me. I haven't been on here in a little while. So you ain't hear from me. But Jalen Hurts, I've been hearing some really, 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 really good stuff about Jalen Hurts. We only seen one drive this preseason with him. And I know it was against Godly. It was who was it again? It was
49ers?
No, it's the Jets, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the Jets.
Yeah,
It was
Jets.
the Jets.
Yeah.
I know it was against the Jets, but he looked really good. But anyways, the stories I'm hearing that from all the beat writers in Philly and all the NFL guys that Jalen Hurts is more accurate. His arm, he's more fluid in his arm. With his arm, he's not in the weight room like lifting like 1,000,000 pounds. So he's more fluid in his delivery. He's got better pocket presence. He's got more of a command of the offense. And all of these are just reports hearing out of trainers that they're just been looking at him all day, every day in preseason and in the off season, and that bodes well when you add AJ Brown, to the mix. Devontae Smith, second-year guy. Dallas Goedert, already a pretty good tight end. Miles Sanders. I mean, they literally can do it. They have one of the best offensive lines in football.
Yeah.
They literally can do everything on offense. And then defensively, they're going to be able to do a lot of things defensively, play a lot of different type of sets, and formations defensively, with, the addition of Gardner Johnson.
I mean, they traded for James Bradbury. And drafting Jordan Davis, drafting Jacoby Dean. This should be one of the better defenses in the league.
Yeah. So if there's any team that can pull an upset against like Tom Brady and the Bucks or the Rams, it's the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion.
Let's move over to my prediction. On points, Super Bowl prediction is this. I got the Philadelphia Eagles representing the NFC in the Super Bowl against the Buffalo Bills. And for all of the reasons that Izzy just mentioned is the reason that I have the Philadelphia Eagles going to the Super Bowl. They might be the most complete team in the NFC. The only real question you have is that the most continues to develop and he continues to grow as a passing player, adding weapons on the outside, adding a defense that should be a top 5 defensive unit in the National Football League with a good kicking game, good special teams, good punter, good return man. they should be given fits to any team in the NFC. I have the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of the NFC. And then for all the reasons that TJ touched on when we talked about Buffalo, they're the most complete team in the AFC. And I think this is finally the year they get off the schneid. They beat Kansas City in the playoffs, and they end up going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. That's my legit prediction. That's not even my dark horse prediction. That's my legit prediction. It's the Philadelphia Eagles going to the big toaster and taking the Buffalo Bills out in the Super Bowl. TJ, I'm sure you got lots to say about that.
Oh, he's ready. Finish with your dark horses. I want to hear what you got to say about Philly.
My dark horse prediction is going into the NFC North, but it's not the Green Bay Packers. It's actually the Minnesota Vikings. They will be playing against the Los Angeles Chargers, which would be one of the most exciting Super Bowls ever. There might be like a 50-50 game going up with those two offenses going up against each other because neither of them are particularly elite on defense, even though I think the Chargers could have a top 5 unit. I just look at this offense for Minnesota. They should be the most balanced offense in the NFC. And if their defense can just round itself into form, just be formidable, not even great, just okay, I think they can give some teams a real hard time. And I think Minnesota is going to go, is my dark horse prediction for the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. And then I got the Chargers because I think they're just so talented.
And Minnesota, I got a joke. I got a kind of a joke in Minnesota, right, about Minnesota. They hire the cleaning lady every year to dust those cobwebs in the trophy case because they got no trophies.
I mean, they went to 4 Super Bowls in the 70s and 80s,
so, and they got nothing to show for it. They got nothing to show for it.
TJ,
y'all are just super high on the Eagles. I mean, I get it. The roster, their roster is pretty deep, but again, it don't matter if Jalen Hurts still got question marks about him, right? And I'm not talking, week 1, 1 week he looks great, a virtuoso as he likes to put it. And then the next week he can barely throw the ball 10 yards, right? He can barely complete a pass. But that's why they put those weapons around him to alleviate that pressure. I feel like the Eagles, if they get there, it's gonna have to be ugly. They gotta win a lot of ugly games.
Well, that's why I think them bolstering this defense in every way imaginable has been shocking this offseason. Like they drafted well. They traded for Gardner Johnson. They didn't give anything. They didn't really give up anything to do it. Like it was like the easiest trade ever. Like they basically traded Jalen Reagor for an established corner in Gardner Johnson. When you look at the what they got back and what they gave up in those trades. That's basically what happened in those deals. It's a textbook idea of the Philadelphia Eagles are playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. The Eagles have done a great job this offseason. If Jalen Hurts can't get it done now, he's obviously not the guy there in Philadelphia, and they'll be looking for somebody new next offseason. But I'm giving him every chance here because he got the team to the playoffs last year, and they've gotten better this offseason. If they can just continue to run the ball, this is a great offensive line, and just continue to work that offense, I think this is a team that could go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, and to TJ's point, the 10-yard thing, we saw Jalen Hurts miss on a lot of intermediate throws, 10-yard throws, 10 to 15 yards. That's another thing that they said he's improved on. He's super accurate. He's it's super accurate from the 10 to 15-yard mark. He's gotten better. And albeit I know it's in practice, but I mean, you can see when a player is getting better. I mean, every season he's gotten better every season from Alabama to Oklahoma. And then he's gotten better from year 1 to year 2. Now it's year 3. So we'll see what it is.
I like how you say he got better. I mean, he got better, but not by much. So let's just take last season for an example, right? He raises his completion, his completion percentage 10 percentage points. He was still 26th in the league, ahead of 2 rookies and a career backup. That's Jalen Hurts. That's what he
you're right about that. From last year he was inconsistent, and we all seen it. But
he got better, but it
should be a different story.
You're still the 26th best quarterback in the league, bro. That's not.
And that's the reason why. That's the reason why. Look, he's a guy that's a hard worker, man. He works hard. I mean, from his playoff game, from the loss against Tampa, he came out in that press conference. He said, "Year 3 starts today, starts tonight, or whatever. It starts tomorrow, whatever the case is." So this dude's he's been grinding hard all offseason to work on that motion to be more fluid in his throwing arm. And he knows that because I mean, when you're like an avid weightlifter like he is, you're putting all that bulk on you. I mean, sometimes your throwing motion could be a little off. He's improved that. He's improved his accuracy. He's improved his command of the offense. I think we'll see a lot of good things out of Jalen Hurts this year. I think he'll shock you, TJ. I think he'll shock you this year. I think he'll be like, oh, prove it again, and he'll be proving it again for you.
Moving on to the other predictions. What do you think of the Minnesota pick, by the way?
Whatever. That's just
like
what did you do, David? Did you throw a bunch of teams in a hat and pick a team?
No. Kirk Cousins has a season.
I mean, I'll pick Green Bay over Minnesota.
No way.
To be in the Super Bowl. Come on, man.
I wouldn't. Like you literally just listed why you didn't pick Green Bay in the Super Bowl.
I know why, but I wouldn't pick Minnesota. I don't even think Minnesota's going to win the division this year.
Yeah, they are. We got news
no,
for
they're
you.
not.
Got news for you.
That's not my opinion.
Moving on to Christian's prediction. His actual Super Bowl prediction is the same as
my guy Christian.
He got the Los Angeles Rams going against the Buffalo Bills. And then his dark horse prediction is Izzy's Green Bay Packers. He has more faith in the Green Bay Packers than you do.
He does.
He's a Giants fan. Going up against the Chargers in the Super Bowl. What do you guys think about these predictions? Between, obviously the Rams Bills is a very popular prediction.
The only way Green Bay. My bad. I'm going to elaborate on Green Bay. Sorry, TJ. Let me cut in here. The only way Green Bay, right, makes it to the Super Bowl, it's not going to be because of their offense. It's going to be because of their defense. It's going to be because they can shut teams down and they can control the clock with the running game. With AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones are going to be big time this year. They have to be big time this year because Rodgers is out there throwing with broke down wide receivers and rookies. Okay, so that's what he's got to work with. And then he's got, a guy coming off injury in Robert Tonyan. And then his offensive line isn't all that healthy. I mean, Eccleston Jenkins, not healthy. David Bakhtiari, not healthy. So it's going to be because of their defense.
Never replace Corey Linsley.
Never replace Corey Linsley. But, I mean, they did draft the kid from UCLA. I do like the kid from Wake Forest that they drafted. 2 rookies. Can't really rely on rookies. But I do like those guys. It's kind of like, replacements here and there. But when I have to say defensively is where they've improved, right? I think they've gotten so much better in the run defense. They've gotten, adding Quay Walker in the draft. Him and Devondre Campbell are going to be big time. Their run defense, they added Williams.
I should have started the timer.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, guys. But then in the back end. Hold on, I'm done. And then in the back end, Stokes, Jair Alexander, Stokes, Douglas. We got Amos, and we got Savage. Though that's the new no-fly zone for me.
Stop it.
I don't think people are going to be passing a lot and having success against that Green Bay secondary. So if they make it to the Super Bowl, they're going to go on a legendary run like they did back in like 2010. Okay? So
or it's going to be like every other season where they win 13 games in the regular season and get bounced in the second round.
It might be that too.
Moving on.
Time on that. Was that 2 minutes?
No, it was like 5, dude. You were just going on and on. Moving on from Christian's prediction, we go to Matt James. His prediction is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just like TJ, going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. And his dark horse is San Francisco 49ers going up against the Baltimore Ravens in a rematch of one of the more entertaining Super Bowls in the last 10 years. Joe Flacco finally won his ring. Colin Kaepernick almost came back and won the game after the power outage and all that stuff. What do we think about the Matt James prediction? Obviously, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chargers, San Francisco, Baltimore.
Yeah, I think the main predictions we can like touch on a little bit, but I think the real conversation here is everybody's dark horses. That Bucks Chargers super prediction, that would be pretty entertaining. Right?
100%.
That would be pretty entertaining, right? That would be. I think everybody on the Chargers first time in the Super Bowl. I could be wrong.
No, the Chargers got beat down in the Super Bowl by the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s.
No, I'm talking about like everybody on the roster. Like that.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
And then Tampa Bay, that would be like Julio second, and then everybody else is second. Everybody else is second, not named
Tom Brady. The GOAT.
And that would be that would be very entertaining. The dark horse here is that's a lot of faith in Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo.
For sure, is a lot of faith.
That's even more faith in Lamar Jackson stepping on the field for the Baltimore Ravens without a new contract. Because if I was him, I wouldn't. Like, if my deal is not done by,
well, he gave the Friday deadline, so
yeah, like if my deal's not done by Friday, 48 hours, I'm not suiting up on Sunday. Like, you can call me selfish, you can call me whatever you want, but if I don't have a new secure max contract in 48 hours, I am not playing football for the Baltimore Ravens. That's me if I was Lamar Jackson. Would that be entertaining? Yes. Would I like to see the San Francisco 49ers kind of get back? Yeah, because I think everybody remembers the clip of it was like NFL films like George Kittle as watching the confetti for the Kansas City Chiefs fall down and they celebrate. He's like, I'm going to get back here one day. Right? Everybody says that. Everybody says I'm going to get back to the Super Bowl. It's another thing to actually get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it's hard to get back to the Super Bowl.
I mean, you're gonna ask Dan Marino with the Super Bowl in his rookie season and never went back.
Never went back.
Yeah, no. I was just about to say that. Dan Marino. I mean, he saved this nice little white suit and said, "I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna get back to the Super Bowl and wear this again," and never went back. So.
Never wore. I wonder if he still has that suit or did he burn it?
I would have burned it.
It's a bad omen. But yeah, I like both of these predictions. Tampa. I don't say I don't necessarily care for the Tampa Bay, but I do understand why people predict them.
Such a hater, God.
Yeah, I agree. Baltimore, I would agree with TJ. I mean, they got till Friday. Put them on the clock. They got till Friday to give me a new contract. Otherwise, I'm not playing. And he means it. So they better tick. Let's go.
So that has been all of our Super Bowl predictions. We are now just 22 hours away from the start of or 23 hours away from the start of the National Football season. We are going to be off tomorrow. Friday, I think Izzy's going to be running his college football show on Friday. Is that correct?
Yes, we will be running the college football show on Friday. So be there, be square, guys.
And then on Saturday, me and TJ, Saturday afternoon, me and TJ are going to be bringing back our crossover episode. We're going to be previewing that Northwest Division, so you don't want to miss that content. Also, if you have a Super Bowl prediction, please let them drop down in the comments section. We do take a look at them, and I'll give you some opinions on your Super Bowl prediction if you leave them down in the comments section.
Before we go, I do find it funny that none of us picked the Bengals to get back. None of us picked the Chiefs to make it. None of us picked the who else is there? None of us picked like the Broncos, the Browns. Well, I think like the Browns, like 11 games, like the Cardinals.
Please.
The Cardinals can make it.
No, they can't. No, they can't. Because they lost Chandler Jones to replace him with nobody.
Okay. Nobody in the history of their mind was going to pick the Cowboys now.
No, definitely not.
Mad Dog Russo did.
Who?
Mad Dog Russo, like the new.
Oh my gosh, Mad Dog.
But we'll be back here tomorrow doing the college football show, and me and TJ will be back here on Saturday doing the crossover. So you don't want to miss that content, gentlemen. What we do here at the prom, my friends?
We bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
Bring the heat.
Bring the heat, son.
Please enjoy the first game of the NFL season. I know I'm going to. So you guys all have a good night. I will see you guys next week or on Friday or Saturday, whenever I see you. Take it easy, guys.